It is the Riot Podcast. Hello, welcome to another week.
That's right. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. And I know a lot of you guys catch up, so you might not be on the same schedule with us, but hopefully your whatever yesterday was fantastic.
Yep, and hopefully you can check out our weekends.
Yeah.
If you go to the RadioU social media.
If you follow us at RadioU Riot, our Facebook page, and if you follow us at RadioU Official on Instagram or RadioU on Twitter, let's just put it everywhere. So you can check out what our Riot weekend looked like, including Isaiah, who's our new show producer.
Yep, and you're going to want to check in on that also because tomorrow or Tuesday, if you're listening way off schedule, Tuesday, August 3rd.
Yeah.
Just 2021. We are going to be doing a
you could be
after
way
show.
behind.
Yeah, who knows? We're going to be doing an after show where we try Cocoa Pebbles ice cream and Fruity Pebbles ice cream.
That's right. It'll be real tough tomorrow. Real tough day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I just appreciate them putting the cereal in the ice cream, taking care of the hard work for us so we don't have to mix it together ourselves.
That's right. We'll do
to
it
make
tomorrow.
it feel like ice cream is okay for breakfast.
So make sure you go ahead and follow us on our Facebook pages or our YouTube channel at RadioU Riot. So you're all good to go for tomorrow or any other extra events we host online.
Yes. Now, before we get into what's in the podcast today, we also need to remember that we always love to see reviews. So if you want to review us on iTunes or whatever the Apple podcast situation is called, and you rate and review.
There it is.
And subscribe, then unsubscribe, and then resubscribe to push us up the rankings.
Yep.
And we have 2 new reviews from over the weekend.
Thank you guys for doing that for us.
John B. USA says, love the Riot.
Aww.
I've been listening to this show for years and I love it. And Mattman12 says, great way to start my day. I've been listening to the Riot for years. Also, he says, love Nikki, and I'm enjoying the new flavor that Hudson, my favorite Canadian DJ, brings.
Thank you, guys.
And on that note, in the podcast today,
Hudson remembers he's Canadian.
I remember that Canada is at the Olympics playing soccer and winning at it against the U.S.
They beat
Spoiler
that.
Alert.
It was a surprise, everybody said.
Yeah.
And it was, what they score, it was just 1-0.
Yep. It shouldn't have been a surprise. Canada's women's team has they've been whirling dervishes in the soccer world for the longest time.
That's amazing.
And finally, it's paid off.
He's going to sound like he's really a fan following them, but he's not.
Yeah. That's all my favorite players.
But good on them, and congratulations.
Christy Sinclair to the other ones. All of them. She scored the goal.
Oh, is she the one? He remembers it from the story.
So that, just take a look at, I took a little victory lap on that. We also found out, I've been dying to know since we met Isaiah, the new producer, and he told us that he has a dog named Jim.
Yeah.
I've never asked, but I've been dying to know why his dog is named Jim, and
so
we get a great story on that. And we also talk about Tic Tacs in space.
Please tell me you put the grizzly bear treadmill stuff in there.
I didn't.
It needs to.
Isaiah's in charge of selecting the clips, so we're going to have a talk with him.
You need to put that in there. Any bear stories go in the podcast.
Always. And
my headphones
no,
fell.
your headphones.
My headphones fell, everybody. Oh, no.
Well,
I don't need my headphones for when we do this. So I put them away. Oh, that's not good. I put them away on my little headphone holder, and something happened.
What have you done?
I don't know. I'm going to put my foot down. I just fell again.
I think we're just going to have to call it the end of the intro.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
We'll have to fix the headphones.
Well, I put my foot. We have is that a subwoofer underneath
think so,
there?
Yeah.
I put my foot on it sometimes.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, that's bad for the equipment.
Well, the headphone, why can't it just be good for my leg? Why don't you think it that way? But the headphone holder is right above it, so I think I just keep knocking it down.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, well, either way, let's just...
This has been long enough.
Yeah, let's call it quits right there. Let's just get to the actual podcast.
Have a great day. Thanks for listening.
Talk to you soon.
The equivalent of someone's lint collection. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Did you have time this weekend to catch Jungle Cruise?
I feel like I saw more before it released about Jungle Cruise than I actually saw the whole weekend it was released.
Yeah.
It kind of died away.
It did, but apparently a lot of people went and saw it, or stayed home and saw it.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because it was Disney Plus.
It was Disney Plus. So Jungle Cruise was the number one movie over the weekend, and it made in total $91.8 million.
So does that include Disney Plus and
that includes
worldwide?
Disney Plus.
That includes, okay.
Yes. I don't know if it includes worldwide, but at least either way, 91.8. But what's interesting is it made $30 million just on Disney Plus. So about a third of its money it made on Disney Plus alone.
Yeah.
And that's like 1 million households watching because it's $30 a rental.
It doesn't mean it's 1 million happy households. That is something that everybody has to decide on their own.
The funny thing is, I think it is The Rock's highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
You're kidding.
By audience score, I saw.
Really? Because everybody just kept saying it was so bad.
Really?
But maybe they say that about every movie, and now we're just catching on to it.
He's in a lot of what do you call them? Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
And so you would think the audience score would be higher.
I only remember and like him from the first Jumanji movie that he did. I didn't watch the other, but yeah, I guess maybe his stuff normally doesn't bring in very good review numbers.
Well, I know you're not going to believe this.
Don't say it's a good number.
It has a 93% audience score on
does not.
Rotten Tomatoes.
It does not. It does not. They're lying.
Nikki,
They're
why
lying.
Don't withhold your judgment until you pay the $30 and watch it.
I don't want to. What was the place that was giving away free tickets?
Applebee's.
Maybe that really worked out well for them. You get your free seat on the cruise.
To be fair, it does have 63% from the critics as well. So it's not just a flaming bag of turds, according to basically everybody who's actually watched it and taken the time to review it.
What a lovely way to describe it, Hudson.
It's what you expect.
I trust you guys. Did anybody see Jungle Cruise over the weekend? You tell me how it was.
Text in 8772 RadioU. Maybe it's paying the $30 can have a funny effect. Either you really feel cheated if it's not good after $30, or you're more inclined because it's like, it's $30. I guess I bet, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt so I don't feel like I wasted $30.
Well, I feel like sometimes you think you like it and you don't want to be honest that you didn't. But because you did pay money and stayed home, you're
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I think I'll give it a 60%. And so that's where your score lies.
Well, given some time, we'll see. They're already talking about... At least The Rock is talking about sequels.
No.
Jungle Cruise, Jungle 2 Cruise, 2 Jungle. No, Jungle Cruise, 2 Jungle Cruise. Do you remember that movie, Jungle 2 Jungle? That's what I'm thinking of.
I don't think
but also Too Fast, Too Furious, and it all just works out.
No, it'll be Cruise 9 or Cruise 2, I guess.
Yeah, it's coming one day, I'm pretty sure, if it can make $90 million in one weekend.
Well, good for that. If anybody enjoyed it again, let me know, because I trust you guys.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Well, another thing we missed out on over the weekend, Nikki, with all our 5King and wasp stinging, we missed out.
What else did we miss out on?
On signing up for our chance. Maybe you did it. Maybe you saw this and you actually got on top of it. A chance to stay at Captain Crunch's houseboat.
Oh, I didn't know this was an option.
Oh, yeah. See, we missed out. I didn't know until it was too late either.
Our chance to get it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a houseboat, and so they just made it look like the captain.
Yeah.
A lot of crunch.
The captain himself is
the captain's quarters,
offering you a spot to stay at his captain's quarters, which is his own houseboat, which I didn't know. Is that like Captain Crunch lore? That he has his own houseboat?
Probably not.
Are we supposed to know that?
I feel like it's the safer option. If they were going to start offering a ride on Captain Crunch stuff, then yes, it'd probably be a houseboat.
I mean, I guess he definitely has a boat of some kind. What kind of captain would he be?
Don't people say like his jacket or his look is also not a captain?
It's not?
Isn't it something else? Is it an admirable or not admirable?
Actually, it does look more admiral-like,
yeah,
doesn't
exactly. So like maybe this is all that they can offer. This is all they have.
Maybe the captain is just a sham completely.
It totally is.
He didn't get any certifications or any military training or anything. he's just out there calling himself a captain. Just because you have a boat doesn't make you a captain. Well, he has a houseboat, and the Captain Crunch cereal, they were running a contest, a sweepstakes, if you will, where you could get a chance to stay on the captain's boat. But what's funny to me is that's just not enough. They say it's more than a beautiful oasis on the water. But what it also says is it's also an opportunity to learn more about the captain, and guests will be treated to an exclusive look at his personal style as well as his most cherished keepsakes. Why do they have to do things like this to make it more complicated? Nobody cares about that, right?
You don't think so?
I don't think anybody wants to see the captain's personal style. Although maybe that will explain why he dresses like an admiral.
I know. It reminds me of, remember Taco Bell did like their hotel thing?
Kind of.
It's kind of like that. Like they just want to make it a full experience for you.
But it doesn't need to. It'd just be fun to stay on a houseboat for a couple days.
Yeah, but you want it from Captain Crunch. It has to at least have the stuff with it.
Well, they give you all the Captain Crunch cereal you can eat.
You're like, guess what? For all meals, for all the days you're on the houseboat, you get to eat.
Well, there's enough different varieties. You
should be fine.
Regular for breakfast, peanut butter for lunch, which is the far superior Captain Crunch, and then finally the Crunch berries at the end. And then the next day, I'm sure there's other versions of Captain Crunch also.
So you can't sign up to register to win anymore.
Yeah,
but
it was actually ended last night at midnight. We missed out.
You get to receive the welcome pack, handpicked by the captain himself. Favorite bathrobe, bath products, Captain Crunch
stuff. It's like
stuff.
A spa weekend.
It seems like it. You're on the houseboat. I don't see where the houseboat would be going from.
Yeah, or if it sails at all, or if it's even actually a boat.
Oh, is it really just parked
Maybe
there?
it's just on a trailer in a parking lot somewhere.
You're right. I'm assuming too much.
Yeah.
It might not even go anywhere. You just get to go into the boat and just stay. Like, does it even say you get to stay?
Or you just get to visit?
I'm counting it all.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even find out there was no news about it until after the contest had run its course.
Yeah.
So maybe they're very not proud of this promotion.
Well, here's some more details. You get 2 consecutive nights between August 9th and the 17th to stay on the boat.
Okay.
Transportation's not included. You'll get a $2,000 bank gift card. Before you get too excited, that usually goes towards taxes.
Yeah,
if you
I think
get
that's
something.
what it is. Yep.
And I think that's it. It doesn't say where the houseboat is, doesn't say anything else, but that's what you get.
I think I would take the $2,000 and say the government can have the houseboat.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
What if the weekend was one day longer?
We always think that.
We always wish that.
Then-
and finally,
You would just hate Tuesday.
a representative that is a congressman, I should say, he's with us. This guy is for the people. I've never heard of him before. His name is Mark Takano. He's from California, and he introduced legislation last week for a 4-day work week, as we've talked about before on the show.
That's becoming more popular. I don't know if that means a Monday off or a Friday off, or does everybody...
Actually,
it varies for everybody.
I was wondering about that. What would you think? Would you prefer... Would it really make a difference to you at the end if it was Monday off, Friday off? Or I was thinking, what if we did 2 days on, 1 day off?
Ooh, that's a good
and
idea.
And then 2 days off later.
I don't want to have to figure it all out. Like, I don't want it to be too confusing. So if we all just could stick with the same schedule. I don't know. I think maybe at first I might prefer Fridays off. But then that really would make Mondays super hard.
Yeah, that would make Mondays tough. If you take the 3 days off in a row, I think that's really going to... I don't know. I think maybe you would just get used to it. Kind of like we're used to the 2 days off and then Monday sucks kind of thing.
Now, I don't
and
think
you have like the Sunday dread.
Yeah, it's just Monday though. But
yeah.
I don't think anything would come of this. Why don't we go back to working on the time change thing?
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like whenever a congressman or a congresswoman like picks this up, it's because they've done something wrong and they're trying to like get the younger person's thing, like to be excited about them and to think that they're really for them.
Let's start looking into Mark Takano and see what he's trying to
what else
cover
you got going on?
What other headline this is suppressing. or he just, like, this is never going to happen. Let's all be real that, not never, but in our lifetimes, it feels like a stretch. We'll be dead or retired at least by the time we get a 4-day work week in the United States.
We'll get a 4-day work week then.
Yeah, then we'll have a 0-day work week, and it'll be wonderful. But between now and then, maybe this guy is thinking, well, one day I'm going to run for president, and I'm going to be the one that's like, I said we should have a 4-day work week, and everybody will be like, yeah, but I don't know. That doesn't seem to work out so well for people when they have like the one thing that's their thing. Doesn't really often work out presidentially. So I don't know. Who knows what maybe he's just really thinks it will help, and maybe he thinks that he can get some people on board.
Cover up. What? Wyatt, thank you for texting. Alternate the weeks. Then you get a 4-day weekend every other week.
There you go.
That's an option too.
There's all kinds of options where we could work less and we'd all be happier. And we're not going to get any of them.
Let's just be on it. Let's
all just be upset and work our fingers to the bone.
But it's nice to think about.
It is.
And for anybody that can, then that's amazing.
Maybe the alternative is we could move to Iceland and we actually would get to experience this.
That's what everybody is going back to. They did a study for so many years and it really moved but I mean, it's such a small place that where you look at its study and it's like a percentage of its country people.
Yeah.
We're the ones who went down and changed to a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
But when you look at the study, you're like, and it's 1,000 people. Yeah. It's just a really small study.
But
it doesn't translate to every other larger country.
Yeah. And it's one thing for generally like office jobs, I guess, to go to. That's always the thing. Whenever we hear studies like this, it's always referring to office jobs. And some of that translates to like manual labor, but not all of it transfers to if you're working in a restaurant or any kind of leisure, anything.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, and our job wouldn't, because unless it was a standard 4-day work week for everybody else that was the same 4 days, ours wouldn't be standard. So then we'd have to either pick and choose or just work 7 days a week. So maybe we don't do this so that we don't have to work 7 days a week.
I know. We don't want to say anything because what if it becomes worse?
Yeah, somehow for us it would.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot, Radio U.
Well, you know who else would have a really slow 5K time? That is a grizzly bear, believe it or not.
I wonder because I know they can run fast, like a short burst of it.
Yeah.
Does that count? Like, is a 5K a short burst? And we're just really slow?
I think they mean a much shorter burst than that when they talk about how fast grizzly bears can run.
If they're coming after you, they have power to do that.
Yeah.
We probably couldn't outrun one.
But if you run long enough, the grizzly bear will probably give up on it. And what we found out, Nikki, this sounds like the perfect job for you. Scientists stuck grizzly bears on giant treadmills to learn about how they move.
Where's the video of that?
Yeah,
I really
there has
want
to
see
be
how
somewhere,
that happened.
right?
Was that outside? Was that in an office? Like, where was that? Was it in someone's house?
What do you think? The grizzly bear's at like one of those desk treadmill things?
Yeah, like what does that look like? Did they?
He's getting some office work done as well.
Did they put him asleep and then they just woke up at a desk? They're desk bears now.
Or wouldn't that be horrible? You fall asleep and then you wake up and you're on a treadmill.
I know. This seems like we would say no if this was humans, but why did they decide to see grizzly bears on treadmills?
Well, they wanted to see like what is the general walking pace of a grizzly bear?
Yeah.
How do they just naturally go about their business, walking wise, not the other business. And so I didn't know this, but they have large treadmills that are usually used for horses. And that's what they used for the grizzly bears. It was in a sealed enclosure of steel and plastic. Oh, it sounds real nice.
Oh, geez.
And so they had bears walk for about 6 minutes at varying speeds and gradients, like uphill, downhill. And they kept them motivated with a constant stream of apple slices.
Well, that doesn't sound bad.
And something that they found was the most energy efficient walking speed for bears is about 2.7 miles an hour. And that is about what humans walk.
Well,
it's
now
a little faster.
You just need to be at 3 miles per hour. Just a tiny
and
bit
you can
more.
outwalk a grizzly bear.
You should be fine then.
And they also found that this is from GPS data. So they tracked grizzly bears out in the wild and used the treadmill to get some of this info. And with the GPS data, they found that grizzlies really do not like going uphill.
Oh, really? They found that out?
So they like staying on flatter or just lower gradient type areas so that they don't have to go uphill.
If I ever get caught near a bear, I think we could really bond over the fact that we hate the treadmill.
That's what I think.
We hate inclines.
There's two.
We love apples.
2 layers to this. One, grizzly bears, like we could really identify with them. We all hate walking, hate moving at a fast speed. And also, if you're ever near a grizzly bear, I guess you just run uphill and the grizzly bear will be uninclined to come with you.
If you can manage to do that at 3 miles per hour, you should be safe. But actually, this is kind of interesting. They say that the study helped explain why you would see bears so often on terrain that humans would be walking.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why is this bear using the same path at this park? Why isn't it, going off and doing something else? They prefer to walk the same that we walk.
Right.
We don't want to go uphill either. They don't want to.
And so if you're out somewhere in a hilly, wooded, whatever park, and then they've made a trail so that it's easier for humans to be able to traverse the area without, with an easier incline.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Trying to understand other people's their anger, frustration, and I don't think I can do it. It's just making me kind of laugh.
What about this is hard to empathize with?
It's Pokemon Go.
Yeah, okay, the game.
I didn't know this because I haven't played it since its original. Remember when everybody played it that one summer for a little while? And I haven't played since then. But it's been around since then, and that was several years ago when the pandemic struck last year. To keep people able to play when they couldn't really go out, the company that makes Pokemon Go, it's called Niantic, they expanded the range for particularly if you had to restock on Pokeballs or whatever, the little Pokestops you had to go to.
Yeah.
They increased the range for that so that you didn't have to be so close to be able to restock on stuff.
So it had a shorter range to spin Pokestops.
Yep.
And today, it looks like they're changing it back.
They just recently changed it back to the pre-pandemic option. So now you really have to be right on top of a Pokestop
so
to be able to get the Pokeballs.
Yes, you have to get much closer to get the items. And they're disappointed considering since it's so varied in so many different areas, especially worldwide, where your area might still be under a closed thing or don't go out thing or a go out and have a festival thing. Every area is so different. So to make such a worldwide change, they're mad about.
Well, there are so many people on. I really just appreciate that this article has pulled all of these different tweets from people because, it's one thing when you see players are upset about Niantic's new change to Pokemon Go. But then when you actually literally see that people are tweeting, they're so riled up about it that they're tweeting they're going to boycott or leave the game or that it's affecting their quality of life. That's when you start to...
it makes sense.
You want to be understanding.
But I must be more empathetic than you because I do understand what they're mad about. This isn't the time then, I guess. But
it is always tough when something changes that you've really gotten used to also. But at the same time, keep in mind, it's Pokemon Go.
People really attach themselves to that.
I know they do. Well,
especially
now they need to attach themselves closer because they have to be right on top of a Pokestop.
You're so mean. You're so mean.
I just don't understand. I get it where if you weren't leaving your house anyways and you wanted to spin the Pokestop down the street, when during the pandemic at first, that was what you had to do. Now everybody... I know that there are some restrictions where you have to wear a mask, and I'm sure other places are different around the world where things are more locked down again. But you can still walk down the street for most people. I guess maybe if they have to do this across the board and the Australia people have to have the same rules that the U.S. people do, I guess that's fair. But then you're constantly having to make the rules based off of the most strictest restrictions in the world.
Well, they are saying it this way. So think that maybe this is why some people are more mad. They're saying some of the people that are criticizing, the change back into how Pokemon Go used to be. Really, the people that are mad, a lot of them say they only started playing during COVID in the first place.
Yeah.
So that was the normal way for them to play.
Yep. And so now they're really questioning.
Exactly. Now they're changing it to a way that they were never into. So they're just concerned about having to play a different way.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand. And I get being upset, but I also don't get so upset that I'm going to tweet.
If you've ever asked yourself, just how bad can it get? We've got your answer right here. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
Sometimes
I found something to upset Hudson.
Sometimes you do have to give people credit just for doing something that they probably knew maybe in a way before they did it that it would be perfect for social media, but then afterwards it blows up even more. Like they just have a mind where they knew they had something that would get people talking. And that is what Cleaning Mama B did on TikTok.
She does. She does videos. It's not just one.
Oh, this isn't the first one.
No, she does a bunch. And she's not the only one who will do these sort of videos. But it's almost like the, it's toilet cleaning videos.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so what's wrong with that? No.
But there's nothing clean. This is extreme toilet cleaning.
It's something.
So what she does is she puts a scrub daddy, those little sponges that have the smiley face in. She puts that down in the bottom of the toilet, like in the hole. And then she proceeds she usually has like 2 different colors she goes off of, it looks like. And she'll put just all kinds of, I don't know if some of it's food coloring and some of it actually is cleaning
They're all
supplies.
Cleaning products.
And she fills the toilet to the brim. And where it really got bad for me, because, at first she's just spraying this colorful toilet cleaner, and it probably is just toilet cleaner, although the bottles aren't marked. And that's fine, I guess. That's what it's meant for. But once she continues on with that and gets to the part where she takes the Comet powder, those cans filled with white powder, and it's Comet, and she dumps the entire can of Comet in.
The whole thing.
And then I lost it because she starts mixing other chemicals with the Comet. You cannot mix chemicals like that. You can't mix cleaning chemicals.
She does.
You are going to inhale that, and you're going to get black lung or something.
Well, it doesn't show her.
Or chemical burns.
So maybe she has like a respirator, like one of those masks on. But for her, she does this as sort of like an ASMR video.
Yeah.
And it's color sort of take on that too.
I mean, it's kind of pretty. I'll give her that.
But then it's weird because halfway through all the cleaning supplies, then she'll start taking her hand and she'll mix them all in together. And people are really upset with her because it's dangerous, like you mentioned, with the chemicals. But it's also wasteful. And I don't know how this all flushes down. I don't know how it does. And that's harmful it must be harmful for your, your community's, I don't know, plumbing.
The sewer system and stuff. Yeah, it can't be good for it. For one thing, I kind of have to wonder, all these cleaning supplies have to go somewhere once she cleans out the toilet. But it starts with no water in the toilet also. So maybe it's a toilet that's not actually in use.
No, as you watch, there's like 1, 2, and 3. So you have to keep watching the next ones when she starts mixing it with her hands. Water comes up then.
It
gets worse.
But no matter what you're doing, yes, mixing the chemicals, maybe if she's wearing a respirator, that's okay.
Maybe.
But there's no amount of water that can, that all this Ajax and Comet is soluble with. It's harming something.
I know.
It's definitely harming something.
Listen, when Hudson watched it for the first time, he was visibly upset.
You're still
upset.
I'm still shaken by this because something is going wrong here. Somebody is being harmed, whether it's the woman, whether it's the
toilet,
the fish, whether it's the rats in the gators in the sewers. I don't know, but it's not healthy. It's not safe.
Dakota texted in, not to mention the cleaning supply stopped working if there's like too much of it. So if there's too many that are all working together, either they're canceling each other out or they're causing some sort of reaction.
And it's just redundant. And mind you, the toilets aren't even dirty to start.
It's not, but that is, I mean, if you keep watching later, they try to work on, they flush it all down.
That's kind of what I want to see is the flushing part, not the...
If you keep scrolling down, you'll see more. And that's one clean toilet. So that was something that they're talking about is not good for the toilet, not good for your septic system, and not good for the environment. You just have to
shut down that entire floor of the house to be like, what's it called? Fumigated. You're fumigating the whole area of the house with all those chemicals.
No offense, but like who can afford all these cleaning supplies for one toilet cleaning session?
I guess she's making that TikTok money.
She must be.
That's what'll fund it.
So hers is cleaning Mama Bee, but you can find a lot of these toilet TikTokers who do these massive cleaning things, and it is weird.
Yeah, we'll never have a viral idea like this.
Nope.
We don't have the mental fortitude for this.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
One more thing to remind you that you might have thought we all knew. That is, you shouldn't mow your lawn with fire.
Was that ever a way? Like, you ever see it was viral like several years ago to get off like the split ends of your hair. Sometimes these hairdressers would do this fire thing with it. But I always thought at the heart of that is the chance for all your hair to catch on fire. So I didn't know, like, is there ever a mowing trick to take the edge off of your lawn?
I didn't know that there was. I don't think there actually is. I think this was just one dumb guy
who wanted to do a fast way to get rid of his lawn.
He's in British Columbia in Canada, which makes this extra bad because out west, particularly, there's
all the fires.
It's a burn ban, and there's been some extreme wildfires burning and an extreme risk for more to be started. But this guy decided that he didn't want to mow. Now, apparently, this is specifically the tall grass. It wasn't just like his green yard.
Okay.
But it was the tall, longer grass, and he didn't want to have to go through the trouble of mowing it, which we've all been there. But what he did instead was light it on fire. It sounds like he had it kind of controlled, but
firefighters had to eventually, like, they were the ones who finally put it out.
Yeah.
He lost control.
But he was monitoring it and whatever was taking place. And the Coast Guard, or whatever they call it there, in Canada, near the ferry terminal, because that's where his house was, they noticed that, and passengers on the ferries had noticed that there was a large fire from the water. So they called the authorities, the firefighters, who went and confronted the guy, put out the fire, and wound up issuing him a fine of over $1,000.
And again, you're like, well, what's the big deal? Because that area is under a burn ban. Because it's so dry and hot. If you decided to start your own fire, it might just really get away from you. Because everything is so dry that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's why he got the fine.
One thing neighbors don't like is a big, large, uncontrolled fire.
Yeah, I know. That's true. That is a good point.
When I used to live in Maryland, and I was out in like way out, the neighbor, like giant yards, neighbors weren't especially close to you, a lot of farms and stuff. But the one thing people would complain about is if we got a fire going too big in our backyard.
Everybody would always say something.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, we never got the firefighters called on us, but all of a sudden, the neighbors start coming over, and it's not like, hey, I brought some marshmallows. It's like, hey,
what are you doing?
Watch out with that thing. It's pretty tall. So.
Well, in this case, too, you wouldn't want, like, I mean, you would want them to say something, but, like if your neighbors tattled on you. But in this case, everybody from the ferries in the area, like the boats, they could actually see the fire. So that's when they called and had people come over so that the firefighters could put out it.
So just a helpful reminder. I know mowing isn't a lot of fun, But
neither is a
$1,000
fine. That's no fun either.
Think you could have just hired somebody to mow for that much.
You could have. You could have hired someone to mow for the whole mowing season and still been under the fine.
And if it's so dry there, you probably don't even need to mow. The grass can't be growing that much.
Yeah, you're right. But that's what he decided to do. Just the wrong choice.
Live and learn.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
It's time for Nikki's favorite segment, Space News.
Yay! Not really.
We're catching up on what is going on in the world of space. And in the world of space, next week, not only has Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos gone into the atmosphere.
What are they calling it? They say to the edge of space. Yes.
They are going to be joined for quite some time by Tic Tacs.
Tic Tac?
Tic Tac? Like the little mints?
TikTok? I only know one tick anymore.
There's only one tick.
It's the talk.
Yeah, no, Tic Tacs, those little mints.
Even hearing Tic Tac sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Because we're just used to not hearing that.
Tic Tac is the new TikTok competitor that's probably that has a lot of like free speech or whatever. Then people come on and ruin that too. But
it's breath mints.
Yes, it is the mints that come in those little plastic things, and Tic Tacs are pretty tiny. And they are going into space. They are launching a
tiny rocket.
Yeah.
Full of the Tic Tacs.
I think it's actually Tic Tac shaped.
And it just rattles on the way up to space. That's it.
And it costs 99 cents.
Yeah, that's it.
So the idea is they're doing this with a company that shoots all kinds of things into space. It's actually, I think, called Stuff into Space. Where did it go? Where is that? I should have highlighted it in this article, because either way, it's a thing it's sent into space, not stuff into space. They shoot stuff into space all the time, whatever people pay them to. And in this case, it's Tic Tac is paying them to shoot this Tic Tac vessel into space, which is, for one, going to be transmitting refreshing messages submitted by Tic Tac fans to possibly make connections with extraterrestrials.
Oh, it's a peace mission.
Yeah, so we're hoping that, I guess, at least Tic Tac is hoping if we make contact with space aliens, the first contact might be the nice messages that Tic Tac. I keep wanting to say TikTok.
I know, that's hard.
Tic Tac is going to be beaming out.
Well, it's worrisome, though, because to mention fresh breath at the first time of meeting somebody, that's a bit rude.
Yeah.
But they're sending fan favorite flavors, fresh mint, orange, and fruit adventure will be going up into space.
Yep, but here's the interesting thing. It's going to be orbiting the Earth for a while.
I think that's everything you shoot up into space. It's called space trash.
They act like it's an infinite frontier up there where we can just shoot as much as we want and it doesn't matter. I think it's all going to add up when it's stuck in orbit around Earth. But anyways, with those flavors of Tic Tacs being sent up in this vessel, there's also going to be other limited edition things that once the vessel makes its return to Earth, you'll be able to win for yourself or purchase as well if you really want to take your Tic Tac fandom to the next level.
Well, I'm sorry, Tic Tac, but it feels like you're just littering in space.
Yeah,
and then expecting some of it to fall back down into Earth.
Well,
but if they want to do that.
Maybe Jeff Bezos has really bad breath, so they're trying to help him out.
For next time. I think it'd be funny if we ever did make it up into space and we're just like, is that Tic Tacs?
Yeah,
what is that?
I heard about that.
So Aaron made a good point. Space was the last place without advertising. And now
not anymore.
Advertising is even going into space.
Yep, there it is. Tic Tac is breaking the barrier there. They're breaking the non-existent ceiling.
By sending up tiny little Tic Tacs into space.
Yep.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Yay!
We're so excited to see Jim, the basset hound. Is that right?
Yes, he is a little baby basset hound. He's like 5 months old. And he's the sweetest thing.
Own social media.
I know, he does. I need to make him an Instagram page.
You do.
But he's 5 months old now. When he was a puppy, he was even cuter. So I can't even justify making one
great.
now.
So he's getting less cute as he goes.
On social media, if you have pictures still, they wouldn't know.
I know.
You'd be 5 months out, and you could have all the content from when he was a puppy.
You could just pretend you just got
him.
him.
Yes,
you have to have all those old pictures.
Yes.
But I wanted to know, I'm dying to know, first of all, for Jim, is it short for something, or did you just name him Jim?
It's just Jim.
Just Jim. And why is his name Jim?
See, whenever I tell someone his name, I get this question like every single time.
Okay.
And there's not like he's not named after anybody or anything crazy. The reason I named him Jim is because like everybody names their animals. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but they name their animals these crazy exotic names, like Apollo or something
or
crazy.
Mochi or
I had an Apollos.
Oh no. and for some dogs, like for some dogs, it makes sense because they're like a really high energy dog, like a husky or like a German shepherd or something.
Yeah.
They can have a really cool name. But my dog is a basset hound. And you would know, if I told people he was 14 years old, they would not even second guess it.
Because his energy is different.
His energy is so low. He has his face is already like super wrinkly and
all
saggy.
droopy, yeah.
All super droopy. His eyes are like, his eyes always look kind of red. And he always just kind of lays around. He's not like a puppy that like sprints around and is crazy. Like if I literally brought him in here, after like 5 or 10 minutes, he would just lay on the floor and just chill out. So I said I wanted to name him something that would reflect his personality.
Sorry, Jim's out there listening.
Exactly. Well, for a
You're
dog,
sitting in the corner laying around.
so I didn't want them to like have these huge expectations for my wonderful dog.
Yeah.
So when they're like, "Why is your dog just kind of like laying on the couch whenever we come home?" I could just say, "Well, it's just Jim, you know."
Let me tell you, I think you've offended everybody with creative names and Jims.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Way to go.
But you just felt like it fit him. And as dog owners, you just know when you have the right name.
Yeah.
It's just a Jim.
Yeah, you just get used to it after a while. So I like it, and it is one of those things where you think Jim, and you almost in your head know that it's a basset hound. You can picture the type of dog that would be named Jim, and you nailed it.
It was funny because over the weekend we actually saw another basset hound, and I asked what his name was, and his name was Walter. And so I said, "That's a good name.
Yes,
that's one heck of a name."
perfect.
Oh, that's even an older sounding
I
name.
know.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
you named him right. That was good. Good work.
Oh, he's like, here's Walter and Jim. Yeah. Cute little basset hounds. Oh, that is so sweet. Well, again, if you want to see Jim, head over to RadioU Official on Instagram. You can see Isaiah's dog there.
Yeah, definitely worth the look. And I do love the name. I just thought it was just interesting if it was short for something or if it came from somewhere or what. Yeah, so I'm glad to get the story behind it, which is there kind of isn't one.
Benjamin, thanks for texting. They have a French bulldog and they named him Winston.
Nice.
Yeah,
that
that's
works.
a total
Another
dog
strong name.
Yeah.
I used to know somebody named Winston, and I guess I still know them. They're still alive. I just don't talk to them, but they always thought their name was a dog name. So
we had a Jim text in and said, "I can't hear you." So he's just ignoring everything that you're saying.
Aw.
The riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the riot. Radio U.
Got bad news for Californians, and that is the price of bacon may be about to go up, and quite significantly.
They said they're even threatening no bacon.
Yeah, the bacon might just disappear like that.
It's like, wait a minute, you're going to have to smuggle it across the state lines just to bring in bacon.
You've got these changes take effect January 1st of this coming year, so 2022. And you might want to, between now and then, start stocking up, have a little bacon backup for you, because
you can freeze bacon.
Yep, and it'll be just fine. And as we've seen, this is for across the country. Bacon prices have been going up, and the reason they may go up, or again, bacon may just disappear in California, is at the beginning of 2022, a new law that was voted on in 2018 is going to go into effect that says that pigs and calves and egg-laying chickens need to have more space to spread their wings or their
so now I hear
pig
this.
legs.
It's not like for a bad reason.
No.
But whenever there is a reason, good or bad, I feel like sometimes the industry takes advantage of that to increase the pricing for way more than what maybe didn't even need an increase in the first place.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I doubt that.
This is kind of what's confusing to me about this, because in this article, now again, they're trying to make, this is something that California voted on, I guess actually a proposition that was voted on in the California election. It wasn't just their government that voted on it.
Yeah.
The people voted on it in California. and it's called the Farm Animal Confinement Proposition, and it requires more space for, again, pigs, chickens, egg-laying chickens, and veal calves.
I don't understand that one.
And so now this is finally going into effect in January 2022. The problem is all of these California bacon and egg-laying chicken places, they already have their setups set up. And I guess apparently they haven't had 4 years of warning, so they don't want to. I think this story is really coming out from their end where they're like, uh-oh, guys, if you still keep this law on the books, I guess we're going to have to take away the bacon. It would be a real shame if we had to get rid of all the bacon because we can't give our pigs enough space.
Well, they're saying, in California, for a lot of restaurants, the number one selling item usually involves bacon, eggs, or hash browns. Mm-hmm. Now, we've had potato problems. So it's only fair that now there's pig and egg-laying chicken problems.
Yep.
They say that the infrastructure, especially for the pig, like pork supply and producers, they say that's the one that's really not fixing or setting up for the new rules. Mm-hmm. So they're just worried that most of the pork suppliers in California would have to face fines or shut down or whatever. Like they would not be able to have things ready by the end of this year.
Yeah. And it just makes sense too, because if you're on a pig farm, you only have you have the amount of land that you have.
Yeah.
And so if you expand each of the pig areas for each individual pig, that would mean that you can have less pigs that would and still comply. So it makes sense. But again, you've had plenty of time where they knew this was coming. But the other thing that's confusing to me is they say that in California every year, there is about every month, there's about 255 million pounds of pork consumed.
That's a lot.
But the farms in California only produce 45 million pounds. So they're still getting the vast majority of their pork outside of the state anyways. So I don't totally understand how it means that they are going to run out of bacon unless the rule specifies that bacon, wherever it comes from, and other pork needs to comply with these laws. And so all of a sudden California has got to essentially produce all of their own bacon and pork or get it from other places that do comply, which who knows where that is.
Well, some of the confusion is California has not yet issued its formal regulations on how the new standards will be enforced.
Yeah. So the truth is you could probably keep having your pig farm the way it is and nobody will come and stop you.
Not necessarily would they, but it's just a lot of confusion. And Jeff is right. Jeff texted California ruining things for the rest of the country again. If you know, you know, because California sometimes has a tendency with its stuff to maybe it's not set up in the right way.
We're going to have to divert our bacon supply for the rest of the country to California, and we're all going to have a shortage. And again, the bacon prices will go up in California for sure, which also means they'll go up for everyone everywhere.
That's usually how it happens.
To be standards.
You almost missed hearing this one. We just couldn't let that happen. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Sing it with me.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada.
Aww.
You won at soccer at the Olympics.
You weren't even going to talk about it until you found out it was Canada.
Beat America. And I don't know any of your players.
Canadian or American?
Either. I have no idea.
Hudson's Canadian, and when he has a moment to include Canada, he always tries.
It's interesting how I suddenly became a fan of women's Olympic soccer directly after the United States lost to Canada.
That's it.
Isn't it convenient timing?
Look at that. You're so patriotic.
But I have been a fan all my life. Truly, I have followed the Canadian women's soccer team, and this is a moment that they've earned. They've frankly trained hard. Frankly, the United States, they've been on top for too long, and it was only a matter of time before Canada was finally going to get their goat, and they did.
So this was women's soccer in the Olympics?
Yes. It was overnight, like it just wrapped up a little bit ago. I guess, sorry if you were planning on watching it in prime time. If they were planning on doing that tonight,
listen,
I don't know.
We can't follow that schedule if we're spoiling something for that. I think it's okay. If not, we apologize.
Because if we did, then we would have to wait until tomorrow to talk about it after it happened 24 hours ago.
It's weird.
So, yeah, the United States, this was the semifinal. So now Canada gets to advance on to the final, but it won't be nearly as satisfying if they win gold, whether it's over Australia or Sweden, because neither of those countries are the United States. They already beat them, and that's a gold medal all of its own.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I just, it's weird that at the Olympics, I never cheer for the United States. I identify more with Canada at the Olympics, except the only time I cheer against Canada is in hockey. I always want the U.S. to beat Canada.
Really?
So
it's just your thing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think that makes me less of an American.
It does not.
Do
Well,
you?
Congratulations to both. I'm all for, whenever it comes to the Olympics,
just being there and suffering through is enough.
I know, I don't want to be mean, we don't care at all.
Yeah.
But
we didn't even know they were playing.
We did not, but for the athletes,
after it ended.
That is, obviously their goal to win, and for America, we're sorry for the United States.
You could still get a bronze. It's a nice medal.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.